So in the last two videos we were discussing about R firing circuit and RC firing circuits. So the drawback of R firing is that the maximum firing angle is limited to a maximum of 90 degree. But in RC firing you will get firing angle variation from almost 180 degree up to 180 degree. Okay, now another firing circuit called UJT firing circuit will be explained, where the UJT is used as a switch element using which the pulses are generated and it is applied to SCR. So today we will discuss about UJT firing circuit. So first you need to understand the basic concepts about this UJT. It is a general structure. It is having an emitter. There is base 1 and base 2. Okay, and there are several terms associated with this UJT. One is called RBB, that you must be knowing, is called the interbase resistance. Interbase resistance. The meaning of RBB is that the base 1, when you draw the equivalent structure of this UJT, this base 1 and base 2 is having an internal resistance. Okay, RB1, resistance of base 1 and resistance of base 2. Together this RB1 and RB2 is called the interbase resistance RBB. Similarly, eta, it is called intrinsic standoff ratio of UJT. Okay, similarly there are other two voltages called VP, which is called the peak voltage, and VV, which is called valley voltage. And I think you know the characteristics of this UJT. If we draw a characteristics between voltage and current, emitter voltage, this is emitter voltage with respect to base. Okay, with respect to the emitter current, the characteristics look like this. Whenever the voltage across this emitter to base junction, it increases and reaches a particular voltage called the peak voltage, VP. This VP is same as this VP. When this voltage across this UJT emitter base junction reaches VP, the meaning is that the emitter base junction voltage reaches VP. Immediately this junction breaks and the voltage across this emitter base junction decreases and it drops to a very low value called valley voltage VV. Okay, once it goes beyond this VV, immediately again this UJT starts to increase again up to VP. So this region is called if you observe this region, the voltage decreases in this region because the voltage decreases from VP to VV, voltage decreases, but at the same time this region the current increases from this point to this point. So voltage decreases, current increases. Normally we call this region as called a negative resistance region. Okay, so this region, the operation in this region, this is unstable. This operation in this region, especially in this UJT, is used for triggering. Okay, so you must operate this UJT in this region for triggering. That's the meaning. So detailed study of UJT you must have learned. So this is the basic concepts that you need to understand about this UJT. Whenever the voltage across this UJT reaches this VP, this junction breaks and UJT turns on. That's the final idea. Now using this UJT I am going to build a triggering circuit which will be applied to SCR. So let's see how to draw the triggering circuit. So to draw the triggering circuit, you have to take this UJT Mark the terminals emitter, base 1 and base 2. Okay, and to draw the triggering circuit, I will be using, the idea is very simple actually. We know that the voltage across this emitter and base 2 junction reaches Vp, UJT will trigger. So to supply that voltage, first of all I will be using a capacitor across this emitter and base 2 junction. Okay, this is the capacitor. Now to charge this capacitor to a particular voltage called Vp, I will be using a resistor and a DC power supply. This DC power supply normally we call by a name VBB. VBB means it's a power supply. It's a power. In analog electronics also, when the double subscript comes, it means that it's a power supply. So this VBB is the DC power supply voltage to charge this capacitor. Okay. And sometimes when the UJT turns on, the VD ID characteristics of this UJT changes with the temperature also. The base resistance changes, the interbase resistance changes. So UJT can damage. To prevent this, I will be using another extra resistance here. This I can call R1. Okay. Now when this voltage across this UJT reaches the peak voltage, UJT triggers. And to obtain the pulses here across this base junction, I will be using another resistance called R2. Okay, and this is grounded, this is C and this is R. So this is a simple triggering circuit of this UJT, and the idea of triggering is also very simple. Idea is very simple. When you supply voltage VBB here, through this R, the capacitor charges to this VBB. Okay. So when you draw the graph, capacitor voltage I am going to draw. Okay. When you apply the VBB, capacitor is charging exponentially towards VBB. So this is the path. Exponentially it reaches VBB. But when it reaches Vp, for example, for this UJT, assume that the Vp is defined as 2.5 volt. So when it reaches, assume that this is 2.5 volt. So when the voltage across this capacitor slowly increases, and when it reaches 2.5, this value, what happens is that now this is 2.5 volt. The voltage across this emitter base junction is 2.5. Immediately this emitter base junction breaks, it discharges, the capacitor discharges through this, and across R2 you get a pulse, a discharging very short duration pulse, because it discharges through R2. So once it reaches 2.5 volt, immediately UJT decreases, voltage across the capacitor start decreases and reaches a very low voltage. And you also know the significance of valley voltage VB. Let's say valley voltage is 0.7 volt. The meaning is once it reaches or goes beyond this 0.7 volt, what happens is that emitter base junction again recovers. Okay. Now what happens is that capacitor again charges to this VBB. Once it goes beyond this Vp, capacitor discharges through R2. Once it goes less than this Vv, again the capacitor charges. Okay. So during this period, when it reaches Vp, capacitor immediately discharges through R2. So during this short duration, if we can take this, during this short duration, across R2, you will get a pulse, because R2 is a very slow resistance, very small resistance. A large voltage immediately discharged through R2, you will get a pulse. Okay. Similarly, this here also you get a pulse, because it's a negative resistance region. In the case of UJT from Vp to Vv, you get a pulse. Okay. So across R2, at regular intervals, you are observing this kind of pulses. Okay. Now how to trigger a CR? So this is very simple. To trigger a CR, you need to take this SCR. This is its gate and this is its cathode terminal. So between this gate and cathode, I have to connect this. So this pulses appearing here immediately will be available to gate and cathode. and the anode part you can connect this is supply voltage. So whenever the pulses arises, it is similar to gate triggering, that is whenever this voltage is greater than this VGT is the voltage that is required to turn on this SCR. So when this voltage greater than this VGT, of course the pulse is having high magnitude for a very short duration of time, so it will be definitely greater than VGT. SCR will also trigger. Okay, now there are certain equations that you need to study. The capacitor charges through this resistance RC. So the time constant of the circuit is equal to R into C. So you can adjust this charging period. If the R is adjusted in such a way that the charging can go like this, immediately it may discharge. Similarly, the charging can be in this way. It all depends on the value of this R and C. Okay. So the charging VC is equal to, there is one expression, VBB into 1 minus e raised to minus t by RC. This expression that you will be knowing, that because in a case of a capacitor RC circuit with a DC circuit, this is expression for charging. The capacitor voltage charges in this way, and you can adjust the slope of this charging by the adjusting the value of this capacitance. Okay, so when you solve this expression, and finally you will get an expression like this, the time period. This is the time period, or this is the time period of the pulses. Okay, time period of the pulse, t is equal to, or this t, RC natural logarithm of 1 by 1 minus eta, RC ln 1 by 1 minus eta. So by using this expression where t is the time period, when you get the time period, you can calculate the switching frequency. F is equal to 1 divided by t. So based on the switching frequency and the capacitor's value, you can decide the R value, or once you fix the R, you can find the value of C, or anything you can do like that. Okay, similarly there are other design equations also. If you take this resistance R1, its value is normally calculated as 10 raised to 4 divided by eta into VBB, because this R1 is used for the temperature arrangement compensation. Its value is very less compared to this RBB. Okay, this resistance, normally this is calculated in this way. Okay, and there are two more equations if you refer the textbook, and I already told you that when you operate UJT, you should operate UJT in this region between this VP and VV, this negative resistance region. Okay, so when you take this resistance R, the charging path of the capacitance, and if you draw the load line of this R in the same graph, this load line should intersect this UJT characteristics in this negative resistance region itself. It should not go like this load resistance, it should not go beyond VP, it should not go less than this VV, it should always intersect this negative resistance region. So for that there are certain equations they are given. What is the minimum value of R minimum, and what is the maximum value of R for the load line to intersect UJT in the negative resistance region. If it is in the outside region of this negative resistance, definitely UJT won't trigger. That's the concept. Okay, so this is such a simple circuit. The only thing is that you should connect a capacitor here. Through this resistor it will charge. Once it reaches the required voltage, it will trigger. Less than this VV, again it discharges to VP. Once it reaches sufficient voltage, it discharges. During those intervals you get the pulses. Okay, so you might be understanding the difference between RC and UJT. In RC circuit you are giving a prolonged pulse, right, for the entire duration of this capacitor charges. Once it reaches the VGT, it triggers. Okay, but here you are getting short duration of pulses. The gate switching losses can be reduced by this method. So these are the advantages of UJT triggering.